Ray, what did you do? You I was reading your comments and some of your comments, and it's funny how you literally just play his words and they call that you attacking him. How do you attack somebody playing their own, just playing their own words? Anyway, you got the same problem I got. I critiqued a YouTuber that's got a bunch of blind loyalists, and now unfortunately for me, I mean, I don't think some of these people that are WTH's blind loyalists are quite as bad as the ones I deal with, because the ones I'm dealing with are extremely low IQ, uneducated, ex-cons, drug abusers, you name it, gamut, criminal records a mile long. They have no filter, and they won't even, it's not just that they leave crappy comments, that's not good enough for them. They got to stalk you in real life and stuff. So hopefully you don't put up with that. But anyway, I was reading some of those comments, and when you played that part where he said, "Oh, we don't do collabs because these people just want to use you," and blah 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 blah, and it's like, oh, that guy did collabs with every storage unit YouTube channel there was when he was trying to get to be somebody. Every one of them he begged, and they did collabs with him. He went to California, did a whole week's worth of collabs with, I believe, Storage Stalker, and did collabs with Locker Nuts. He did collabs with Treasure Hunting with Jeebus, who he modeled. He modeled him to like how he did his thumbnails, how he presented his videos, how he did his unboxing. He literally copied the guy. And not saying there's anything wrong with it, but don't then 2 years later, when now you got more subscribers than them, talk like, oh, we don't do collabs with deadbeats. There's plenty of people that were gracious enough to him to do collabs. So that kind of gives you an idea where his head's went. He's gotten a little big-headed. As I said to you before, I liked watching his videos. I've seen him at storage unit auctions several times. I mean, he goes to the same ones my wife and I go to. So anyway, but what I wanted to talk about was every time you try to critique him just a little bit, you hear the charity stuff, right? And the first thing I want to say, Ray, and to all the people commenting negatively to Ray, there's not one single thing WTH can do to Ray for making reaction videos. Can't do it. Nothing. Not one thing. The absolute only thing he could humanly possibly do is send him a letter that isn't worth the paper it's printed on. It's called freedom of speech. And it blows my mind how for the last 6 months that's been his videos, right? My freedom of speech. It's my freedom of speech. Freedom of speech for me, but not for thee? Come on, people. I know you're a fan, but everybody's got the same entitlement to freedom of speech that he does, right? Isn't that right? So what are you doing, man? It blows my mind that you guys act like, every other video is him ragging on somebody. But then if someone gives any constructive criticism to him, they're going to get sued and get a cease and desist letter. And no, they're not. You're not going to get sued, Ray. You're not going to get anything. There's nothing, not one thing he can do to you for critiquing a YouTube video. Absolutely not one single thing. If you were to use his real name and say something horrendous about him that was untrue, then maybe he could waste some money trying to sue you for defamation. Probably wouldn't get nowhere. Believe me, if if you could, I'd be rich by now, because I've had everything in the sun said about me by these dirtbags. But so don't worry about it. There's nothing, not one thing he can do, nothing. And I'd challenge him right now. If you think there's one thing you could do to another YouTuber for doing reaction videos to your videos, you give her a whirl, buddy. You can't. And we both know it. So save it. Stop bullying people with your influence. Remember where you came from. You know, I remember when you had an old beat up pickup truck and a homemade trailer. So just knock it off. And what I wanted to talk about was the charity stuff, you know. All these people, oh, it's lies, you can't say it, you can't prove it. Every one of you right now that think that it's charity when he records a 5-part video series of himself giving back the contents of a storage unit, I would invite you to go to socialblade.com, find the video series, look at the ad revenue clicks, and you'll see right now that there's nothing charitable about it. Not one thing. It is a profit-making adventure. I'm not knocking it. Nothing wrong with it. I hope he becomes a millionaire from doing it. But don't preach to me that it's charity. It's a way to make a good thumbnail on a video that'll get a lot of views and make a lot of ad revenue. And any notion that he doesn't do what he's doing to make money is insane. Come on. It's insane. You don't walk around filming every single thing in the world and spend hours and hours and hours editing videos because you don't want to make money and you don't care about money. And you don't talk about money in every video if you don't want to make money and you don't care about money. And you wouldn't have your channel monetized if you don't care about money and wouldn't want to make money. And you wouldn't be accepting super chats and donations. And why would anyone donate him money? Some working class stiff send him money when he's literally going to make money off the video of you sending him money. It's crazy. When you got 800,000 subscribers and you're averaging, 80 to 100,000 views for video, you're going to do very well with YouTube revenue. You're going to do very, very well. I know. And but to give you an example, folks, you buy a storage unit for $200, right? So you pay $200 for a storage unit at the auction, and you find out who used to own it, and they lost it because they couldn't pay for it. And you call them, see if they want it back, and they say, sure, I'll take it back. So you say, well, tell you what, I'll give it all back to you if you'll sign an NDA. If you'll sign this NDA contract and let me videotape it, I'll give it all back to you. Because, see, that's the parts you don't see on camera, right? So then he does a 5-part video series of giving it all back. Re-storage the love. Well, those are the highest revenue generating videos he has. On one of those units, it was the first one I believe he did. I know he paid $200 for it. And I think that video netted to date, as of clear till now, I would say in the range of $30,000 in ad revenue from that one video, or the 5 video series, excuse me. There was another one they paid he did a collab with Storage Stalker, I believe, and I think they paid $600 or $700 for that unit, and then they were going to both put videos up about it on their channels, and they both made 3 times, 4 times as much as they paid for the storage unit in ad revenue. Not knocking the guy giving the stuff back. That's not what we're doing here. But stop it with the sainthood stuff, people. Everything he does on camera is for profit. It is what it is. And he's gotten a little bit big-headed and overboard with just constantly beating some petty little infraction, slap cold to death. Uh, I'm not. I got no. His crazy neighbors, they're crazy, right? They're nuts. But he also antagonizes them, and any notion that he doesn't antagonize them is just you with your little side blinders on, ignoring reality, because he absolutely does antagonize them. If I had neighbors like that I didn't care about, I would just ignore them. Totally 1000% ignore them. Every time he mentions her, he gives her clout. He builds her audience. He's promoting her. If the best medicine for somebody like that's seeking your attention because you're a celebrity, ignore them completely. He should have never even mentioned her name on camera, ever. She would have about 10 people in her comments, and nobody would even know who she is. But since he keeps promoting her, he's getting more and more and more and more haters out there. And some of the things he's done to them isn't very nice. And he has said a lot of mean stuff about a lot of people in that community. So it is what it is, folks. No way am I making excuses for a petulant clerk, double charging him on his water bill because she just don't like him, or that kind of stuff. I got no use for people like that. I hope she gets everything that's coming to her. There's no excuse for someone waving around over any dispute. Like, you're talking about deleting somebody over some petty thing. And in fact, a person in the community of my haters took it too far with a and now he's going to be going to prison. So I hope they get everything coming to them too. There's no excuse for it. But your saint isn't straight from Jesus Christ's palms, folks. He just isn't. He's not infallible, and he's not won every lawsuit he ever filed. He's lost a few, right? And he's not right. Not everything he says is right. He's no legal scholar by any stretch of the imagination. And we saw that the last time he went to court. He thought he was going to bury some elderly lady with 3 steps from the grave over being in a building that the person that rented it to him had no right to even rent it to him. And he's going to try to ruin this old lady because of it. It's just crazy, man. And he did that because it made good clickbait videos. And I want to ask all you people that are loyalists in here trying to beat old Ray up here for giving an honest critique, right? How do you continue to stomach the grossly exaggerated clickbait thumbnails? Because that's what started turning me off. That's why I quit watching him. I got tired of the clickbait, man. I mean, when you put a thumbnail up like it says, I bought a storage unit, it has got dead bodies in it. And it turns out that the bodies were a goldfish that passed away in the fishbowl. Or, well, this unit belonged to a drug dealer because there was a pot pipe in there. I mean, come on. The gross exaggerations are starting to wear thin. I haven't seen him post an honest thumbnail in over a year. So, hey, Ray, I appreciate your videos. Don't let these haters get to you. And trust me, dude, there is not one single thing on this earth he can do to you for making reaction videos. The worst thing he could do is send you a cease and desist letter that isn't worth the paper that it is printed on. You can do reaction videos all you want. It's called freedom of speech, folks. And the same way, your hero has been preaching about his freedom of speech for months. Well, guess what? That freedom of speech belongs to everybody. And he is not beyond reproach. The same way he criticizes all those people in Otter Creek, people can criticize him. And there is not one single thing he can do about it. I think you guys are conflating and mixing two different things. The issues in court dealing with his neighbors have nothing to do with YouTube videos. It's got to do with trespassing and harassment in real life. They posted signs around the town saying he was a kid diddler. They waved you know what at him. This sort of thing. That had nothing to do with YouTube. That's why that's in court. But there's nothing he can do to Ray for doing a criticizing video. Not one thing he can do about it. A court wouldn't even hear the case if he tried to bring it. They would laugh at him and tell him to go home. If you could sue somebody for criticizing your YouTube name and it be fair criticism, WTH would be bankrupt by now because he criticizes a lot of people and grossly exaggerates. And I mean grossly exaggerates. Sorry, just keeping it real. Love your videos, Ray. Keep them coming, man.